Welcome, everybody, to episode 24 of How to Become a Sales Warrior. Nice logo right there. My co-host, Mark Simpson.
Hello. Happy New Year, everybody.
Where are you from?
Back.
Where are you from, Mark?
From the Integritas Group. Happy to be here with you again, Ed. Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas. So
Same here.
All that good stuff now.
So like I've been sharing with you, Mark, the reason that I'm doing this podcast is to play off my book and try to help. Older guys like me don't want advice from guys like me. They just don't. Younger people, I seem to get more drawn to people who don't have the years that I do, and they're really willing to listen. And if they take from the book and what we share here, they could shave off years of aggravation of how do I get to the top and make some money at the same time.
For sure. And don't underestimate, too, what you bring to the table is this hard hustle, breaking your ass, doing what you got to do, getting in front of people, and that's still, I think, an invaluable piece, and you talk about that in your book as well.
So before we get into one of the chapters, we like to start off with best sports moment of the weekend. I watched a ton of football, from college to pros. I think I watched every game.
Why would you watch pro football as a New York fan?
I'm actually a Giant fan. I watched Aaron Rodgers instead of my team.
There you go.
But the Lions really, I got spoofed. I got down to my office at 2:00 on Sunday, and I put on the NFL Network, and the Lions were playing the Vikings, and the Lions won.
Yeah.
This is on Saturday. I thought it was a Saturday game. I watched this. They won. I open up the paper the next morning, and I see Lions and Vikings at 1:00. I'm like, what the? I watched the first game, not even knowing it. How dumb am I? And they won that game.
Good thing you didn't try to bet it.
What was your best sports moment?
Again, being a New York fan, I think our best sports moment is having the Giants lose to get the number 3 pick and to not be embarrassed with Saquon setting the rushing record against them.
Danny Dimes, Saquon. I threw my chips to Saquon. I'm not going to lie to you. And they did Danny Dimes. I'm like, no.
And not only that, Kevin Byrne, the whole thing. And they've already announced that everyone's back from the Giants this year.
They announced it?
They announced it. So everyone's back.
They're giving him one more year.
Well, probably
You know
2.
why, right?
Well, because they got to get the quarterback. Yeah.
Parcells' third year is when he turned it.
Well, this will be the 4th year. And remember, they never had a quarterback.
True.
Theoretically. True. So we'll see what happens. So, yeah, my best sports moment is the Giant loss. There you go.
All right. I'm pulling out of chapter 4. It's the Eddie Pretzel days. And from this chapter, it's going to guide me into this new year as well. Remaking your business model. If you didn't have a killer year, you have to change the business model, whether you're a sales guy, business owner, CFO, you have to be able to change direction before the ship goes down.
I believe it's called pivot.
Pivot, very good, thank you.
A very critical component for running any type of business.
And the pivot is where I've always succeeded. COVID was a nightmare for many, many people. For me, it was a boon because of the pivot. Where I am right now with pods and where I might go this year could be a really the biggest pivot of my life because it's the last 5 years. I'm only working 5 more years. Whatever I do right from today to 5 years, retired 65, I'm going balls on as hard as I can. So I have to remake my business. There's and from speaking with you, my side hustle is new. It's there. I haven't touched it yet, but it's going to be an interesting year because I am ready to change. What about you?
It's all about pivoting, right? So very excited about a couple different businesses I'm involved in. Obviously, you know about the Integritas Group, where we're hoping to get a rather large order in the next couple of weeks, which would be transformative to the business, and we'll see what happens. But just look, the thing that always brought us together, the way that you hustle and what you do, and I think that just brings so much value to people. And anyone who doesn't really know you like I do, I think the work ethic goes beyond anything else. And my hope, as I said this over and over, and I'll continue to say it, at some point in time, you and I are going to be working together, hopefully in a I hate to say the words, private equity-backed company in our own business.
You never know.
But in our own business where I would bet the house on you running the sales team.
Could be 2025, remaking the
Well, you
business.
never know.
Never know. The action statement in that chapter is don't be afraid of the business makeover, the job makeover, don't be afraid.
Let me ask, were you ever afraid? Like what,
Me, no. Never.
Even when you were younger, was there something that you were like, you know what, I'm scared to approach that person?
Never.
That's just your thing. That's a talent. I mean, people don't realize that.
And I'm gonna throw you under the bus here. If you read the book, one of the first sales experience was my JV baseball team, and we were on austerity. Back then, austerity meant you had to pay for your own sports. My parents were not paying $125 for the baseball team.
Right.
The coach came up with an idea to sell candles through a candle
And
company.
I can only guess that you raised all the money from selling the candles.
Tripled it.
There you go.
So I needed to sell 40 candles. I ended up selling 150 candles, and I didn't make the team. But I walked away with $1,500.
Oh, man.
So the sell experience was a high. Not making the team, that was the end of the baseball career. It is what it is. But it opened another door.
Yeah.
And look, I didn't capitalize on it for the first 20 years of my career.
Right.
All right, jumping into network tip. I'll let you go first. Networking tip for the audience.
Don't be afraid. Honestly, don't be afraid. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations. Don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to hear no. Don't be afraid to get blown off. I think the more aggressive you can be, and I don't want to say non-caring, but stuff happens, man. You never know when you're out there talking to people what it leads to. So that would be my advice.
And I'll tap on, I'm not going to use mine, but I'm going to say to you, I'm a great loser. I'm a great loser. I will lose 5 times as much as I sell all the time.
Oh.
But when you're a good loser, people remember you.
So just quick sidebar, in the security space, which I have a long history in, there was a company, Mormon company, they used to sell religion. They turned around and started selling security systems. They were door knockers. Have you ever had a door knocker?
Yeah, I know door knockers.
Yeah. 99 doors shut in your face and that one that opens. But those guys, man, when I would meet them, I'd want to hire them myself, because anybody who could basically knock on 100 doors a day, get 99 rejections for that one yes, that's something special.
My networking tip is smile. Be caught on camera. You see a camera, someone taking pictures, grab the person next to you, smile. It's contagious.
Yeah.
People enjoy being around you. Right. Frowny guys, not getting a lot of people running over to have a conversation.
Right.
Guy with a big smile and comfortable in his own shoes is going to get a lot of conversation. All right. Trade show and conference. So I added conference. Normally it's just trade show, but our guest today, Jim Beauchamp, he's having a conference. I'm calling it a conference. And we're going to talk about that in a short while. So we're going to throw it out there. You're going to answer, Joe, when it's your turn. Give us a trade show or conference tip, something that you learned that could be valuable to the audience.
Be prepared. Know who's going to be there in advance, and sort of have a game plan and a roadmap when you go to the conference. A lot of these big shows, again, I'll speak from a security perspective, they have big shows in Vegas. And if you don't have a game plan, it's overwhelming. You get lost. You find out you're there for 3 days and accomplish nothing.
And wasted a lot of money doing it.
Well, there you go. And sometimes you might have some fun doing it, but yeah.
So it's funny you mentioned Vegas. That's really the side of my biggest show that I ever did, being on time. Someone worked hard to put this event on. Be on time. If they say load-in day is Monday at 8 o'clock, you're there at 7:30.
Right.
For the Vegas one, I was so nervous because I never did a show that big on my own. Someone else always did it. I literally did the whole thing. And when I got out there, I went a day early. So I went out there on Sunday. Instead of Monday, it's Monday to Friday, come home Friday. I went out Sunday. I wanted to get the lay of the land, wanted to be in my hotel, ready to go, and we were really successful.
Yep.
So being on time.
Right. That's what I tell people, and I hate to say this, but if you show up to work Monday and you haven't checked your emails and you're just coming in Monday and check, you're behind.
You're behind.
In my world, you're behind. So it's kind of the way it is now.
Joe, you yelling from the audience. You got a networking, trade show, or conference tip?
I want to agree with Mark with the know what you want to get out of it ahead of time. And a lot of these conferences, it's not just the networking part, it's the education part. There's a whole lot of new stuff going on out there, and gathering the ideas, going in with a humble expectation of understanding, learning something new, developing yourself as a leader and or salesperson and or expert in the marketplace.
A very good point.
Great answer. Great answer. Well, we're going to be bringing Joe out real soon. We're headed into tequila time. We're going to break for a couple of minutes, come back, have a shot at tequila, and then we're going to bring our friend Joe Beauchamp out here, and we're going to rough him up a little bit.
Let's do it.
All right. Be back in 5. It's a great beginning. Ty White picked it out. It's just a song that incorporates that Zeppelin sound. I was really looking to use when the levee breaks, the beginning of it. It's just a riff that just gets me going. I just saw Get the Let Out last week, so it's Zeppelin's all around me. Anyway, we have our guest, Joe Beauchamp. Say hi, Joe.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate being here.
You are here at Tequila Time. You're not drinking with us today. Tequila Time is just a new beginning for Mark and I. We'll do our shot.
Cheers.
And this week's Tequila Time has to do with networking. It has to do with how do you get your name out there. And I'm not going to go back 20 years. I'm going to go back 5 years. The only way you really met people was going to an event, threw some stuff up on Facebook that nobody looked at, and you had a nice, handsome portrait on LinkedIn, and you hope somebody saw you someday. Today, social media wipes that out. You have podcasts, you have Spotify, iHeartRadio, you have Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You have a galore of ways to get out there now. But the old ones still work.
Absolutely.
So events, I'm gonna jump right into it. For you, I do this. What's your event? You have an event coming up the 24th.
Live to lead.
Live to lead.
Live to lead. Yeah. Live to lead. Long Island. Right. This is so I'm a Maxwell Leadership trained, certified coach, speaker, and trainer. This is a Maxwell Leadership event. There are 300 of us worldwide that have licensed this material to be used for a Live to Lead event. This is the only Live to Lead that's happening on Long Island. And hopefully I make it an annual event that will repeat year after year. So January 24th, it's a Friday, full day conference, a lot of leadership development. The main focus is for everyone that goes there, everyone who shows up to walk away with tremendous value, changes in mindset. You know as well as everyone, how you think affects who you are and how you show up. So changing the mindset and changing the strategies, coming out with some new, better strategies. If I do A, I got such a result, I'm going to try B and get a better result. And so I would like for everybody to walk away equipped with new ways of thinking and new habits that they can implement in their businesses and lives.
So my boss asked for my schedule for the next week or so for some meetings, and I put 24th, don't put anything. And he's like, why? I said, and I sent him the stuff that you sent me this morning. I said, I'm going to this. And he's like, how much? I said, I think it was $200. That's it?
Yeah, very reasonable.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Very-
And that's
lot of
a
value.
share to you what an executive in my company, oh, that's it. He was thinking that I was coming back at him with a $1,200 or a $1,500, bump for the day. So, keep that under your hat for next time.
Tell them that $1,200 and then bring the team.
Who do you recommend to attend this?
Business, anybody who's a leader of any form, really anybody who doesn't live in a cave and have zero communication with anybody else, right?
I like that.
So if you have communication with other people, if you aspire to be a leader, if you want to have better influence on the people around you, if you feel like you could deserve a little bit better respect from the people around you, this is a great event. It's going to help you to be a good leader, right? If you're leading well, people around you respect you. They are influenced by you. If you're having zero influence, your leadership skills probably could use an improvement. All of us could use an upgrade in our leadership skills. And that's really wherever anybody's at, whether they're low level or high level, you can be the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar company. I guarantee you will walk away with value from this event.
That's great. So you actually might have a lower level person commingling with a higher level CEO somewhere, and that in itself is valuable.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So, and really from all the perspectives, like everybody, even this multi-billion-dollar, let's say CEO who's there, no guarantees there's going to be multi-million-dollar
That's
CEO.
okay. We got your point.
But to get value out of the people around them, to get different perspectives, right? We can understand and learn from everybody. I don't care if the person's 25 years old, right? There's somebody to learn from right then and there. And there's going to be opportunities for everybody to do that.
Okay.
Deliberately made opportunities.
Actually sounds
for
like a
people to
really good event. Really good event.
It's going to be, my word for the event is epic.
Epic. That's
great.
Everything I'm measuring, is this epic? No, make it epic. It's got to be epic.
So I've been involved in a men's group with Joe, and he was a mentor to me for 12 weeks, teaching leadership. That wasn't part of his business, but as I know him now, it was all about your business, because this is who he is in his personal life. This is who he is in his business life. Lead from strength, be lasered. The things that I quote that are from Beauchamp. These are the things that I took from working with him. Being able to know he has this event coming up, and he called me last week and was like, what can I do to help him? And then magically someone falls off the radar for today, and magically the spot opens for him. And it's like, things happen for a reason.
For sure.
You want to help people. And that's what this book is about. It's help other people. First, and when did I text you? Friday afternoon or Saturday morning, when our other guest was like, I might be at a funeral. I'm like, you shouldn't be sweating going to a podcast when you have a funeral to go to. But those are the vibes that you put off. So if that is any indication of what's to come, I'm excited. I'm down for the day. My calendar's blocked off.
I think I'm going to come. I mean,
I think you should.
No, this is as an executive for 20 plus years, this is the type of stuff where I try to encourage my team, and you've hit on some real points, because people shouldn't just accept, I'm a low-level person or whatnot. If you're not striving to do better, and this sounds like a path to really expose people get stuck in the weeds, man. They sit there, they don't change anything, and this sounds like an opportunity at a very nice price point.
Very reasonable price.
Yeah, it's a very reasonable price point. It's a great opportunity for everybody to really go in with a mindset of, hey, how can I upgrade?
What can I get out of here? What can I bring to my everyday business from this room? It's all about perspective.
Yep.
If you have it, you're going to be successful. If you don't have it, you're going to get stuck in the weeds, like you just said.
Yep.
All right. This is rapid fire stuff, not to pontificate with lots of stories, but best new connection of the week. I kick it off with Bob Ryan. Mark introduced me to Bob Ryan, owns a security type company. Had some interesting talks about possibly using pods for shipping their equipment around the company, possibly do some other things, but that was my best connection of the week, which really excited me to come into this new year with new things. What about you?
Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, I'm now officially a member of the Comac Chamber of Commerce. How about that? So,
no, you're an official member of the board.
Oh, the board, yeah, that's right. I'm on the board
He's
of
on
the
the
Comac
board.
Chamber of Commerce.
That's
And
awesome.
so all these folks, not being originally from the area, now kind of, we wanted to just do something good for the community, and some reason they seem to like me, and now I'm involved and excited to really make a difference.
Excellent.
Awesome. Well, this is not a very new. It's a very recent connection. Not this week.
It's okay.
Today is Monday, I think, still. So, but it's pretty recent. Autumn Storm.
I know
Bain.
Autumn Storm.
Everyone knows Autumn. Yeah. So I met Autumn very recently, and she likes the event, and she's on board for helping me promote and use her connections to.
Her name is Autumn.
Autumn Storm.
Autumn Storm is
That
her
is
first name. Yeah.
Fantastic name. Wow.
She called me on Thursday because I've done an event with her. Great gal, sweetheart.
Real name?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
wow.
Real name.
That's a great name.
And I don't mean to be. She's gorgeous.
Right.
She's just one of these women that are just really beautiful.
Right.
And she talks and you listen. You pay attention to what she says. And she called to pitch for your event, and I let her go. I'm like, I let her go. I'm like, yeah. Like, Autumn, I love the call. I'm glad you're helping Joe out. I'm already signed up. Okay, great. It's good talking to you, Eddie. So, yeah, she's great people. She really is. You got to have something good for this, Joe. Best business decision of the week for me was continuing this podcast. Okay, this is the first one of the new year. My goal is 30 to 35 episodes this year. Try to take it to the next level. Try to quadruple our subscribership, and that's going to be a labor of love for the year. But that's my best business decision of this week.
My best business decision wasn't this week, but the last year. I bet on me.
Hey.
And I control my schedule. I'm involved with a bunch of different things, and I'm doing things that I'm more passionate about. And you take the risk. You got to be able to take the risk. So that's what my best business decision has been.
You?
So best decision, very recent, is onboarding more people to help with promoting the event this Live to Lead event coming up in just a couple weeks now. But I will piggyback off the year, and that is the investment in myself, upgrading my relationship with the Maxwell leadership team. I'm now an executive program leader, as well as a corporate facilitator. Like I've expanded my ability to be able to offer new stuff to my clients, as well as deciding to launch this Live to Lead event. So I've really upgraded, which is all the stuff was a huge investment, but it's really investing not just in myself, but investing in my clients.
Right.
How can I provide better service, better products, better value to them?
So, big wins of the week. Wins are described in different ways. It's not always signing a contract. It's not always walking to the door and it's a done deal. Sometimes it's just having that second or third round of discussions with a future client where you know when you hang up the phone, when they're ready, they're calling you. And it's such a, it's like putting it in the bank for the year. And I spent yesterday afternoon banging on 5 national companies that I wanted to do business with that had a mild interest in using pods. And I went after them yesterday. And out of the 5, 2 hit me back today. I was like, fucking hey, man. Like, I guess, because I do start the email with good Sunday afternoon. I'm watching football. It is Sunday afternoon.
That's so great. That's great.
And they look at it like this fucking guy's in his office on Sunday watching football, sending out. So I got callbacks from Boeing and what's that? Attire Energy? Altier Energy.
Altier, okay.
Altier Energy. They're out in Vegas. But both of those companies reached back out to me, and I'm looking to put together a national program for them. So that was mine. What about you?
That's awesome.
Mine. Well, it was a slow week because it was a holiday. However, our big wins, I think, as I mentioned earlier, we deal with national retailers, and my hope is that we've got a tentative soft commitment for a multi-million-dollar order, and hopefully that comes through, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent.
Tentatively, fingers are crossed.
It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to. And by not naming names, that's the way to go because you're not jinxing anything. No one knows what the fuck you're talking about. Nobody cares.
Better off, yeah.
What about you?
Right. I'm going to take a different angle on this. So a lot of people talk about coming up with a word for the year. Mm-hmm. So my word for 2024 was action. Right, that was my motivating word for the year, and I was debating what I'm going to do as my motivating word for the 2025, and I settled on impact, the word impact, and I'm like super psyched to really try to impact. Somebody challenged me, Matt Rivera, actually. I don't know if you know Matt Rivera.
I do not.
Inspection Boys.
I know Vinny Messina from Inspection Boys.
Works for Matt, yeah.
Okay, very good.
So he says, "What's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Your BHAG for the year?" So I said, 1,000. Yeah, that comes from Jim Collins, Good to Great or Built to Last. One of Jim Collins' books. So my BHAG this year is to impact 1,000 people directly. So not counting the ripple effects that hopefully will lead to thousands of other people. So
action statements, man of action.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump into a quick Q&A. You like short answers. You take the first one.
Well, if I could.
Yeah.
So how did you even get into this? Like, how did you?
See, that's why we start with this question.
That's it.
To find how we get to that.
See, I didn't even need the cheat sheet.
You were a high school teacher?
All right, so I started in corporate, right? 1995.
Okay.
I start in management at a major top 20, Fortune top 20 company.
Right out of school?
A few years after.
Right.
A few years after graduating with my bachelor's degree, start at this company. It's 1995. And my team started the company before I was born. The person I was replacing left right away. There was another manager there. He had a heart attack. I'm running a department by myself with a bunch of people who've been there forever. And we made lots of progress. And there was all kinds of changes. We're changing the location. We're changing the computer systems. We're changing how the business is run.
Right.
All kinds of changes going on. I'm running this. I had to go up to speed super fast. We make it, get a bunch of different jobs at that company in different management positions. do pretty well. I'm like, I can take this show on the road. I'm going to go train other people on how to use good leadership skills to get good results at work. Launch a seminar, retire, take an early retirement package from that company, launch a seminar, promote it on the radio, 3 people attend, including myself. So I had 2 guests show up to my first seminar, and decided to become a high school science teacher after that. So trying to make the short story real quick. So go into teaching high school science. I'm teaching kids after school on how to live their life purpose. And in my heart, I know like this is not it. Like that calling of being out there.
How long were you a teacher for?
I was a teacher for 14 years.
Oh, so you had tenure and everything.
No.
Wow. Got it.
No.
So I got certified as a teacher in 2007.
Right.
And everyone remembers 2008
Yep.
with,
The
every
world
teacher's
fell
getting
apart.
laid
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
So I'd be at a school, everyone would love me, and then they'd be like, yeah, we're laying off 60 teachers this year. So that went for that. So then they have to, when they started hiring back, they have to offer back all the people that they accessed before they can hire somebody outside of that. So I was left, out and waiting. And I really think that, serendipitously, it was
Kind of
A blessing.
Yeah.
it was a blessing, because this is really what I was
Did that lead you to John Maxwell?
I found John Maxwell at the same time that a temporary position was coming to an end.
When I first met Joe, when we started talking about what we did for a living, and again, there were certain things in my life that are very interesting to me, and he said the word John Maxwell, and to strangers, it means nothing. Someone like me who watched during COVID, every minute of the day, every word of the day for almost 18 straight months. I got a text, a quick email every morning with a 2-minute video of John Maxwell. I'm like, I've never had anyone say that to me. John Maxwell. I'm like, I gotta know this guy.
Yeah. So talking about pivot from before, Maxwell Leadership pivoted during COVID, and like, listen, we're just going to add value to people. We're not going to charge people. We're just going to come up with as much content that we can give. They created, how to lead through change, how to lead through difficult circumstances, like all kinds of material specifically for leaders and what we were dealing with during COVID. And they were just they were just giving stuff away. John Maxwell's Minute with Maxwell every day. He would talk about a word for a minute. And it was just very inspiring, very motivational to people, and very encouraging, and helped a lot of people get through the pandemic and survive through it.
My wife would be laying in bed. She's like, "You really got to listen to that in bed. I hate that man's voice." She goes, "I just can't stand it. It's just great." I'm like, "But I need my Minute of Maxwell. Give me a break."
Yeah, it's just a minute.
Right.
What do you got?
Well, if I
Go ahead.
let me go off script. So let me ask you something. When you first took over in leadership position, it sounds like you were kind of a younger guy dealing with.
I was 24.
Right. So, did you know your ass from your elbow when you took over? Like, did you make mistakes? Did you have was it a challenge getting older people to kind of follow you at that age?
The answer was respect. Right? I couldn't go in there as the expert. They were the experts. I couldn't go in there as an authority. They were the authorities. I couldn't go in there. I had nothing. I had nothing but kindness, respect, and listening. I listened and listened and listened, and I learned. And I became a subject matter expert within a few months. They said, "Hey, we need a subject matter expert on this role. Can you do that job?" I'm like, "No, I need to do other things." But I had to learn all the new systems. The good thing was everything was changing, so it kind of put us all at the same.
Did you have any resistance from?
Oh my gosh!
Well, just give me an example of something, and only because I can relate to some of this. But was there any special person that stands out where no matter, like you saw, that might have been a red wall, but no matter what, that was blue to them?
Yeah, so, with the 20-80 rule, the Pareto principle, like 20% of your people are going to do 80% of the work. And that was clearly what was going on there. And there was people who were self-motivated, came in gangbusters. They would do anything, whatever I wanted, they would take care of it. Whatever they needed to do, they would take care of it. They would go above and beyond and extra. And other people were doing the bare minimum. Probably
The ones making the most money.
Well,
they're probably all making about the same money. They were all in the company for about the same amount of time. And it was a union position, so they were probably all getting paid
So
the
how do you-
same dollar amount.
Okay, so you're 24. You see this, you start to kind of figure things out a little bit. And I appreciate because, but sometimes the best thing you do is just listen to everybody else and not be the smartest person in the room. How did you deal with some of the people who were kind of adversarial or couldn't deal with the fact that you were younger than them and kind of guiding direction?
They really didn't have too much of a problem with me. I think because I listened and I was super respectful, I didn't really get that direct pushback. There was a little bit of pushback, but I think my approach, which I would highly recommend today, and that is the influence versus control, right? And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about at Live to Lead. Lose the mindset of control and replace it with influence. I can't fix you. I can't flip a light switch and make you a different person. But there's probably some degree of influence. If I can get 1% more out of you next week than this week, if I can make 1% per week improvement on your performance, that adds up. Like compounded interest, it comes out to be 68% year over year compounded, right? So if I can just influence that person little step by little step, I can't make them from doing 2 jobs a day to doing 50 jobs a day, but I can help them to get a little bit easier, a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit more, a little bit better quality, a little bit more productivity.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, go.
Do you find a difference? So working, you as a 24-year-old back then versus a 24-year-old today. I'm not, shitting on other generations or anything like that, but there's definitely a different expectation maybe for a younger workforce. Do you see that today? And how does, what the event that you're putting on, is that something that you can kind of help some of these people focus on? Because as someone who deals with a lot of staff, that I'll take somebody who's motivated. I don't care what you know. I don't care what your resume says. I'll take motivation and hard work over anything else. But sometimes you can't get them to turn the switch on.
Right. So a lot of that, we can influence that as leaders, right? And so there's methods that we can use, like having a vision of a bigger picture, right? So when I started working for this company, I didn't really know what the bigger vision was for the department. Nobody talked to me about where we were going, what we were doing. All I knew is I got to go in there, I got to do a good job. And so I'd get in early, I would work hard, I'd stay late. Every day literally in the beginning, I would have a headache every single day. And I knew I was getting better when my headache started later and later and later in the day. But I was just so focused on, I got to learn everything. I've got to figure this whole stuff out. I've got to get the team working. I've got to, all the gotta.
Gotta.
All the gotta, yeah. So a lot of stress. And I think, today's 24-year-old maybe isn't thinking that. Today's 24-year-old is thinking, work-life balance, which is
so true.
And thinking, okay, it's 5 o'clock, I'm done, whatever. Even if that person might have goofed off during the day or whatever, and you're like, well, this clearly was a job that you should have been able to get done today, and you're not done, but you're still walking away. You're still taking your lunch break. You're still taking your breaks and all this other stuff, which is understandable. But how do we cast a vision for that person to get them to move forward and be like, oh, you know what? I'm doing this more for a purpose than just to make a dollar, right? If we think of it as transactional, I'm here to provide you with a minimum amount of effort for the max amount of pay, as opposed to, hey, we're in this together to make a difference in the world, and the harder we all work, the bigger the difference we make. And taking that leap is really our job as leaders, is to take that leap and to make sure that that's clearly communicated to our teams. A little cartoon that I like to refer to, I've referred to it before, there's a business owner who's polishing his Lamborghini out front, and the employee comes out and it's like, hey boss, that's a nice looking car. And he goes, yeah, I love this car. He's like, a lot of hard work and dedication and everything went into this car. So if you come in early and you work super hard this year and you focus and you put all the time, energy and effort into this, next year I can buy myself another one. Right? So, and that's the vision that a lot of young people have is, I'm working for you to buy your, your next Lamborghini or your next whatever, right? So as opposed to, hey, you know what? We're here making a difference in our people's lives, our employees, our customers, the community. We're here making a difference, and you can be part of it. And the more effort you put in, the more impact we have on the world.
Yeah, it's funny. You validate things that I do by the things that you just said. So, Monday, I'm going to lose 3 to 4 hours of my day to come here and do this podcast. So I go into work on Saturday and put 3 hours in. And then I go in Sunday night and do another 2 hours just to make sure when I get in tomorrow at 5:30 instead of my normal 6:30, I'll have already put in 7 extra hours that I would have had to have done on Monday, so I can go on Monday, be here, and not feel I have to be rushed to be anywhere because I've already worked 3 hours today, and I did 3 yesterday and 2 on Saturday, But it's that mantra of I hold myself accountable. I gotta work. I gotta put the hours in. You gotta make the calls. You gotta send the emails. And unless you're on vacation, you are obligated to do that, whether you stretch it over 7 days or 5 days.
Right.
But like you said, so the younger generation, it's 5 o'clock, man. I got to be anywhere but here right now.
Right.
Regardless of, like you said, they took a lunch break, they took a cigarette break, they went and had a snack at the coffee machine. How many minutes did they, piss away and weren't productive?
Right. Yeah, it's really that ownership, right? So helping our team to really take ownership of the function that we provide as an organization, right? So our company provides service, right? So people need pods. People are moving. This is a very stressful time in their lives. They're putting their stuff into a pod, maybe having the house renovations, or they're moving to a new location, or whatever kind of stuff. And by you and your team working, you make people's lives better, easier, faster, smoother. You reduce stress. I remember at a previous company, somebody calling up and saying, "Listen, I just need this done. Like my wife is." Wants a divorce, my kids or whatever, my health is, all kinds of problems. And he's like, can you just, like, it was like heartbreaking. It's like, can you just give me one break? Like, can one thing just be okay? And unfortunately, his service was delayed for reasons. And so it was stuck. But just hearing that, hey, listen, I got 99 problems in my life. Can you just
not be one?
Yeah, could you just not be one of them, right? And so one of the things I try to help my clients understand is, listen, you can't solve every one of your clients' problems, but you can solve one of them. You could not be one of them, right? And so for our team members to kind of get hold of that, like, hey, this person on the other end of my 8-hour workday, my customer has a life. They have a wife. They've got kids. They've got health. They've got parents. They've got cousins. They've got whatever issues going on in their lives. And I can help alleviate the stress of one piece of their life. I can add value to this person's life to make their life a little tiny incremental bit better. And so why not do that, right? If we all did that, just think about how much easier life would be.
All right, we got 2 questions left. You take the second to last one.
Okay, second to last one.
Keep doing that.
Where do you expect to be in 5 years?
Good question. So 5 years from now, I would like to have a team. So let just give you some perspective. The Maxwell Leadership Team is the largest leadership training and development company in the world. There's about 50,000 certified trainers and speakers and coaches at various levels of their training and development. And so out here in this area, there's about 300 of us. I would like to get at least a handful of those together and be able to be providing leadership development services in all sectors of whether it be public, private, government, whatever kind of companies, big, small, medium, out here on Long Island. I would love for everybody to be implementing good values-based leadership principles in their businesses or places of employment. I'd like to see the level of health, emotional health go up.
I could go on like this. Everything you're saying is great, and this event you're doing, I think I encourage for everybody. But I could go on for hours because everything you're saying to me is so fascinating and so relevant to somebody who's worked in the world 20, 30 plus years at this point in time.
Last question. Anyone in history, alive or dead, that you'd love to have dinner with, who would it be?
Maybe Abraham Lincoln.
Whoa,
just fascinated by
Abe.
Yeah. So, like what courage to surround yourself with people who are like adamantly attacking you, like to be able to say, okay, you know what? You don't like me and you disagree with everything I say, but you're probably the best at what you do. So I'm going to put you right on my cabinet. We don't see that today. I just love to kind of glean some of that courage to be like, okay, we're going to do this together in spite of the fact that I've got people on my team that are opposed to me, and just have that. I guess that there's a level of confidence in there as well, and also I guess, humility, right? I don't know everything. You probably have some valid points. If I surround myself with a bunch of yes people,
What are you going to
I'm not going to learn. I'm not going to get the best value. But if I surround myself with people who are purposely trying to oppose me, I'm going to hear clear perspective from other sides.
It's a nice
That
choice.
is, that is completely absent today.
All right.
I don't know. Has anybody else seen that around?
Look into your camera. Tell us how we can reach you. One more plug for the event. When and where? Go.
Yeah, Live to Lead. It's January 24th. It's coming up in just a couple of weeks, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You want to go to live2lead.com, live2leadli.com, and you can register there, find out more information.
It's
you
in
go to my website.
It's in Hauppauge at the.
That might change.
Oh.
So that's why, yeah.
Okay.
The location is up in the air right now.
Okay. Okay. Sorry about that.
So yeah, it's okay.
And how can they reach you on the phone?
631-770-7705.
Mark, introduce yourself. Look at that camera right there. There you go.
Mark Simpson from the Integris Group. We handle all retail loss prevention needs. We're outsourced loss prevention and compliance. Feel free to reach out. msimpson@theintegrisgroup.com, 917-414-4027.
I am Eddie Pods, National Account Manager for Pods Moving and Storage, and author of How to Become a Sales Warrior. You can reach me at 631-334-8587 anytime. Thank you all for being here. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you at episode 25.